Oh my. Hey everybody. My Zoom screen is kind of giving me a hard time. So hopefully everything follows through here. I just wanted to point out some astrological events here. First off, my heart goes out to everything that's going on in the world. Especially what's taking place over in Israel. I don't side with either thing, and I we're all in a never-ending search for what exactly is the truth. And despite what anybody else says, what the military says, what the government says, and all of that jazz, I'm still not sure if any of it is the absolute truth. This is a very tricky time within humanity that we are in right now. However, I do want to point out some things going on with the astrology. So yesterday, yesterday was the day, Saturday, when the invasion in Israel happened, was the day when Mars moved from 26 degrees Libra into 27 degrees Libra, thus beginning the exact square formation to Pluto retrograde 27 degrees Capricorn at 54 minutes. So it was literally yesterday when Mars crossed into 27 degrees of Libra, right around the same time as the invasion happened. So, why is this significant? Well, because Mars is the planet of war, military, the warrior, action, shoot first, ask questions later. Mars is the taking action and standing up against conflict. So here we go. Boom. Mars moved at 27 degrees Libra at 1:14 p.m. Eastern time. And let's see, just out of shits and giggles, what time is it in Israel right now? I think they're way ahead of time. Um 8:13 p.m. right now. So way ahead of time. So it happened, the invasion happened while Mars was still at 26 degrees. But that entire day was very fucking intense. And during the invasion was when Mars crossed over from 26 degrees Libra into 27 degrees Libra, forming this exact square to Pluto at 27 degrees Capricorn. Now, going into today, so today at 1:13 p.m., which is what time it is right now, Mars is still at 27 degrees Libra, but at 40 minutes. And it's going to be later this evening where Mars reaches 54 minutes. And this Mars Pluto square is exactly at the degree point and the minute point. So again, Mars is war, aggression, military, very masculine energy. It's the warrior. It's assertiveness, it's sex drive, it's the blood, it's how we take action. And over the last few weeks, Mars has been in within a close conjunction to this south node in Libra. If we go back a week, if we go back exactly 1 week, in the beginning of October, we see Mars was here at 22 degrees Libra, which is when Mars was beginning to form this conjunction to the south node. Now, the south node is karmic, it's past, it's the past, it's past lives, it's the accumulation of karma. The south node is a portal, a vortex to the past, and this story, and where we have been and lived different experiences, learned different lessons. And right now, with what's the event that has taken place on the world stage between the Palestinians and Israel. This is a karmic battle. This is a huge thing, but there's a lot more to it than just this. But Israel being the Holy Land, and the Palestinians, being, that's being their land, and the whole thing is very fucked up. Look into all those details. My point is to explain to you how Mars crossing over this south node, um, the south node acting as a vortex, sucking Mars through this experience of processing past karmic ancestral events, and then looking at it now where Mars has finished crossing over the south node, moved into the 27-degree point of Libra, and thus exacting this square to Pluto, which Pluto is death, transformation, destruction, death, transformation, destruction, um, purification. So when Mars is squaring Pluto, a Mars square Pluto aspect is very intense, because here we have the planet of war, the planet of aggression, the warrior, our ego, our masculine. Mars is our assertiveness. And then we have Pluto, which is Hades, Lord of the underworld. Very intense planet. Pluto is obsessive. Pluto is the shadow, the subconscious. Pluto is things that have been curating and developing beneath the surface. Pluto is everything that is suppressed beneath the surface, and Pluto is death and transformation. And so for the planet of war to square the planet of death and transformation, but really things that have been bottled up deep beneath the surface. So this is not just a random event. This was very planned and very staged. This wasn't just like, hey, let's do this. The military that invaded Israel, they have been planning this. They have been practicing this. You know what I'm saying? So, but the alignment of the official date of the plan of action is very significant, being that the planet of war squared the planet of death and transformation and revelations, revealing what's been bottled up deep beneath the surface. Now, this act that took place yesterday is having a massive ripple effect around the world, where already in other countries we are seeing open violence between Muslims and Jews or Israelis. Over in New York, I just saw an article about an intensity of open violence, and the police are on high alert between the Jewish communities and the Israeli communities, or not Israeli communities, the Muslim communities, who a majority of them are recent migrants from the Middle East. And then also what has happened within the 24 hours of this invasion is a Muslim Egyptian tour guide pulled out his gun. No, he wasn't a tour guide. He was a media reporter. He pulled out his own personal handgun, shot and murdered an Israeli tourist who was with his tourist group at an ancient site in Alexandria, Egypt. Now, this has sent out a massive ripple. So this level of aggression, this level of hate towards other people, this intensity has always been there. And these different cultures, these different beliefs have been bottling up this anger and this aggression for many years. And for why? I personally believe it's all staged, and that these groups of people are all sleeper cells and have been massively indoctrinated and hypnotized to be, very obsessive and zealots about their own personal ideologies and beliefs, that put them in a position to hate others that have different ideologies and beliefs, And now here we are killing each other in the streets when it's all part of a one world globalist agenda, to cause all kinds of chaos and destructions and as much death as possible, as much people killing each other as possible by one way or another. So this this Mars crossing over the South Node, this has really opened up some deep. So you guys, this this fight, this battle between the Palestinians and the Israelis, between Muslims and Jews, between the Hindus and Muslims, and all of these things have been existing for hundreds of years, for generations. This is not new. And this is the what's coming up with the Pluto squaring both the South Node and the Mars is the pressure valve has been released. And what's been bottled up for centuries through generations and ancestors and all that stuff is coming to the surface, where the accumulation of the karma is coming out. And we have to look at the sign Libra. Libra is the sign of justice, balance, and fairness. Mars being the planet of war in the sign of Libra. This isn't the ideal place for Mars to be in. Mars is not at his strongest in Libra because Libra is opposite to Aries, whereas Aries is the shoot first, ask questions later. Libra is the let's ask questions and bring it under a diplomatic court of law and counsel, where we have a jury, and we work this out in fairness and in justice, and everyone is innocent until proven guilty, that kind of stuff. So that's Libra, and Mars is not at its best in Libra. But because Mars is crossing over the South Node, going through this vortex, Mars, what is one possibility of the experience of Mars moving through the South Node vortex is becoming very, very activated in people's own righteousness of really feeling the injustice and the unbalanced and becoming ignited to take a stand and take a fight. Because even though the sign of Libra is the more indecisive one and the one that wants to weigh out all the options and can get stuck in paralysis analysis, Libra, however, when ignited under an energy of duty for fighting for justice, Libra can be one of the greatest warriors in the battlefield. Libra energy that is activated for fairness and justice and standing up for that can become some of the most best generals, military rulers, and commanders. So Libra has a warrior within it, but it has to be really ignited. And so I feel like perhaps the accumulation of the karma of what's been unfair and what's been unjust in the world going through this through this vortex has really opened up a massive can of worms. And with this Pluto aspect squaring it, it is intense. So Pluto is the energy that is going to have is the energy that has us feel things to its absolute intensity. So if you feel sadness, you are going to feel sadness. If you feel happy, you're going to be riding the bliss wave far and wide. If you are indifferent, then you really will be indifferent. So Pluto is intensity and tenacity, and it governs our obsessions, abilities, and also unconscious habits. So with Pluto squaring this, it's really opening up a can of worms here at the world stage of what's going on. Now, the other thing, looking at this Venus, I mean, not this Venus, but this black moon Lilith that has been at 0 degrees Virgo for the last few days now, exactly squaring this Saturn in Pisces. This Lilith and Saturn opposition is going to be going on for about a month and a half, really, because Lilith is moving really slow. Saturn is moving really slow, retrograde in Pisces, and this opposition is going to be very tight within 1 to 2 degrees for weeks. So essentially, this black moon Lilith in Virgo opposite this Saturn retrograde in Pisces, this is an energy that can really, 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 really add gasoline to the flames of this Mars being activated through the vortex of the South Node and intensified through the death and transformational purification powers of Pluto. This Lilith Saturn aspect adds gasoline to the flames of righteousness and hating that which is different than you, hating that which is different than you, and only looking at what you can harshly criticize and distinguish with that which is different than you. And so this adds gasoline to the flames. This adds gasoline to the flames of this I hate the Muslims, or I hate the Jews, all death to the Jews, all death to the Muslims, and all that kind of stuff. And the Black Moon Lilith opposing this is going to add all of the following reasons, the list of reasons why. Oh, they worship the false god. Oh, this and that. Oh, they're ugly. Oh, they spit. Oh, I hate their food, and blah, 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 blah. Just like every single fucking detail. This is going to add a whole lot of gasoline to the flames, which means get the fuck away. Get away from all types of debate and arguments from people that are ignited by this and are just, really one-sided and forming a narrative or whatever. You want to be objective to all of this and be observing what's happening, because we really don't know with Neptune here and the Pluto and Capricorn transit. Like, there's agendas going on, you guys, and we know that. So this is going to be very intense. Now, Pluto in Capricorn, this is a transformation of government. Pluto has been in Capricorn since like 2008. For many, many, many years now, Pluto has been in Capricorn. Again, Pluto being the planet of transformation, purification, death, and rebirth. Pluto is the planet that rips the rug underneath your feet to show you everything that has been hiding and bubbling and also been kept in secret and operating in the shadows. Capricorn is the planet of military, government, corporations, all things of structures and authority. So the military is an authority and full of systems and structures. The government is authority and full of systems and structures. So organizations and groups that have authority, that bestow their authority onto things. The CDC, the World Health Organization, the United Nations. This is all of these things go under the category of Capricorn and governed by the planet Saturn. Saturn is the ruling planet of Capricorn. So for Pluto to be in the sign of Capricorn, Pluto, the planet of death, transformation, but the planet that also reveals what has been kept hidden and secret within the shadows. So this long, slow process of Pluto being in Capricorn has been a gradual process of the consciousness within the planet to move through revelations and realizing that the governing powers, the authority in the world, are corrupt and are hiding many things. In America, the moment Pluto entered Capricorn was when we moved into a mini recession and the housing market crashed and all sorts of stuff. There have been many, many people along my journey over the last 17 years of studying astrology that I have met came into their awakening about the Matrix and the Masons and the Illuminati cabal when this recession happened, because they were business owners, they were homeowners, they were people that did things right and put everything in trusting the system and believing that there is integrity in the system, only to realize that it was all rigged, and rigged for an elite 1% ruling class, and they've lost everything. I can't tell you how many people that I've met in different from different walks of life where I asked them, so what was your awakening? How did you get to this point of being at this conference, or blah blah blah? And so many times it goes back, well, back in 2008 when the recession happened, blah blah blah, and that's when I realized this and that and this and that. So Pluto in Capricorn has been a gradual process of the collective on the world to wake up and realize that there is a lot of corruption, because Capricorn is also integrity within authority. And there has not been integrity and full transparency within the governing powers around the world. Now, another thing about America and Pluto and Capricorn is that when the Declaration of Independence was formed and signed over on July 4th, 1777, Pluto was at this very degree of 27 degrees Capricorn. I forget what minute it was, but Pluto was at 27 degrees Capricorn. So the last time Pluto was in Capricorn was around the Great American Revolution. The last time Pluto was at Capricorn at 27 degrees was when America became a country and declared its independence and signed the Constitution. So this has been a long gradual process. This has been a long gradual cycle, because America, the number one superpower in the whole world, is going through its Pluto return for the very first time. And at this degree here at 27 degrees, while America is going through its Pluto return, it is squaring the South Node in Libra, and the South Node is the accumulation of karma. Libra is justice and fairness. So there's a lot going on here, because this is the whole world, more than just America. This is the whole world, and everything is connected. So what's happening here is going to open up a whole can of worms that's really going to show us where the money is going, who are the players, who are the ones in authority, and that it's all one elite ruling class, and they're doing this whole fucking thing, and we better watch out and be paying attention and not get sucked into something. So again, the last time Pluto was here was, how many years ago was that? 280 something years. So it's been over 200 years, almost 300 years since the Declaration was signed and America became a country. So the fact that America is going through its Pluto return right now, which that means America is under review. That means now that Pluto has reached this point, from 2008 all the way until now, people have been slowly waking up and realizing that this is a corrupt world. And why even try? Why even bother? Especially the new generations feel like that, while the older generations are trying to cling on and hope that things are going to get back to normal or whatever. This is an apocalypse cycle here, you guys. So now that Pluto is here at this degree, America is going to transform. The whole world is going to transform. And with with Uranus being in Taurus here at 22 degrees, Taurus has been making a quincunx to this Libra energy, along with Pisces and Neptune here. Uranus in Taurus is an energy that has also been facilitating in the random and unpredictable events that leads to a series of other chain of events that contribute to changing the way our value systems are, and changing how our resources operate, our money, our food, our transportation, our global market, but also re-terraforming borders, constitutions, earth, changing countries. For example, things are getting really serious about the state of Oregon and the eastern side of Oregon wanting to remove themselves from the state of Oregon and join the state of Ohio. Is it Ohio or Idaho? Joining the state of Idaho to create a bigger Idaho, because the eastern side of Oregon, which is very country, very rural, not anything like Portland or the west side of the state of Oregon, And because of Portland and the agendas and the liberal, the fucking liberals and Antifa and everything that's going on, Oregon's going to fucking shit right now. So the eastern side of Oregon is like, yeah, we don't want no part of this. We want to become part of Idaho. Can we do this? Let's all vote. That's what I'm talking about with the Uranus and Taurus aspect, is that new lines, new boundaries, new territories are happening right now at the same time. So with Uranus forming this quincunx to the south node and this Mars energy, this is another reason why another contribution as to why and how this very random and unpredictable invasion into Israel happened. Now, I know it wasn't random and unpredictable for those who have been involved in planning it and organizing it. And of course, as it's happening, we're like not really that surprised because this beef has been going on forever. However, we are shocked at the magnitude in which this invasion happened, where thousands of missiles have been launched and already hundreds of people have been killed and thousands injured due to the invasion and what is going on here. So this is intense because the border in Israel is fucking thick. It's what Trump wishes the border between America and Mexico was, with the fencing out there. It is fucking serious. And they plowed through that shit. So this is heating up, you guys. This is really heating up. Now, what's happening today? October 8th. This is a big day. There is a lot going on here on this day, October 8th. So here in the early hours, we see that Mars is only increasing the intensity of squaring Pluto. So another thing that I want to add to when Mars squares Pluto is this this is an energy that can be tapped into, that will lend you the tenacious power and the domineering willpower and assertiveness and drive and tenaciousness to take action towards your goals, to take action what you want to do. And with the Pluto element, there is a desire in wanting to take the assertive action that leads towards a transformation. So this plays out differently for people individually in their charts and in their lives, but collectively, this is a battle of the will. This is a battle of the willpower. This really is makes sense for initiating war right now with the South Node element. And of all the places, the Holy Land, right? Ancient shit. And look at where the fucking South Node is. South Node is what? The past and the accumulation of karma. And where's the North Node? The North Node is in Aries. What is the ruling planet of Aries? The South Node right here. What else is in Aries? Chiron, the wounded healer. And we're getting ready to approach a solar eclipse very soon in Libra. On October 14th, we're going to approach the solar eclipse in Libra. Let's go into the solar eclipse real quick. I want to see exactly the degree this is going to happen. We're going to show you. We're going to look at October 4th, 11th, 10th. October 10th. Don't forget, October 10th, Pluto goes direct. So October 10th, Pluto goes direct. And by the time Pluto goes direct, Mars is going to be progressing forward into this Scorpio energy. We're going to go back and see exactly when Pluto goes into Scorpio. I believe, I don't know, we're going to look at it real quick. But here we go. Here is the solar eclipse at 21 degrees that's going to happen here. 21 degrees Libra. Mercury is in Libra. South Node is in Libra. Mars is officially out of Scorpio. Lilith is now 1 degree Virgo. Venus is now 5 degrees Virgo. We're going to talk more about that later on. But this is what I want to point out, what's happening here, opposite of this solar eclipse and this massive stellium in Libra that is also being squared by this Pluto in Capricorn, now direct, and also quincunxed by this Uranus and Taurus that's retrograde here. Opposite to all of this energy is Chiron, the wounded healer. So this is a wounded, this is you know, oh my gosh. So there's a few different ways that I want to talk about this, because Chiron is the wounded healer, but also the shaman, the medicine man, right? Chiron has been in Aries since 2018, I believe. 2018. So Chiron moves very slow in Aries, and it's about midway through its Aries transit. So Chiron in Aries is healing the inner warrior, healing the inner masculine, the divine masculine, healing your trauma and the things, the areas within you that have attacked your character, your identity, your sense of self, and bring back the warrior and fighting spirit to stand up for yourself and stand up against confrontation. So for this lineup here around here, this Chiron and Aries, this is fucking huge because the Palestinians who apparently, my information is, I'm kind of channeling right now. So the Palestinians, the where the Holy Land is in Israel, is it Jerusalem? Correct me if I'm wrong. It's okay, but that's supposed to be their homeland, where God gave them that land, right? But they have been oppressed and moved out. It's basically the same story as the Native Americans being moved into reservations and taken away from their land. This is the same kind of story that we're dealing with, except it's more modern and it's happening to the Palestinians. So they have been being oppressed and beat down and abused and wounded. And so now with this Chiron in Aries opposing all of this, it is bringing a resurgence of this fighting spirit. It is bringing a resurgence of this fighting spirit, and for the ruling planet of Aries, Mars, to be sucked through this South Node and Libra vortex. This is really making sense of this rise in finally standing up for what they feel, for what they believe. I'm not saying I'm on their side. I'm making sense of where they're coming from. So they're finally rising in their fighting spirit to stand up for what they believe is fair, just, and true. And this is going to be happening within groups and cultures and societies and individuals, happening all across the board, all across everywhere, in your neighborhood, in your city, in your town, in your country, at work, wherever. And the name of the game is be your fucking self and stand up, speak your mind, and do what the fuck you're gonna do. And in the process, if you're still a little bitch, you better transform that shit and stop being so goddamn harsh on yourself. But at the same time, if you're seeing that you're fucking need to work on your pecs and fucking get rid of some fat around your man boobs, then better fucking hit the bench press, little bitch, and transform that shit. Because guess what? You're a man and we're gonna need you because everything is changing. And if you're weak and docile and not strong and taking care of yourself, well, then guess what? Survival of the fittest, motherfucker. This is the kind of energy that we're moving towards right now, you guys. Oh my gosh, this is very intense. This is very, very, very intense. So going back to this Mars square Libra energy, okay? Okay, so Mars square Libra. This aspect gives a personality with a tremendous drive for power and transformation of self. You are strong willed, almost to the point of ruthlessness, and you have enormous energy and endurance at your disposal. You may appear timid or unsure of yourself since the power urge is commonly repressed, but then there is the potential for sudden bursts of anger due to the repressed emotion finally exploding to the surface. You may also have feelings of insecurity that are compensated for by being overly forceful, acting compulsively, or even becoming obsessive about achieving your will. That's what I'm talking about here. In a more positive manifestation, you can exhibit a dedication to higher ideals and a willingness to be a channel for healing yourself and society. The challenge is movement away from feelings of insecurity and resulting separateness and loneliness toward a better acceptance of others' needs and opinions in order to generate wholeness, forgiveness towards self and others, and a new and better sense of self-worth. So this what I just read to you is even more intense because of the south node, which means this energy that I just described to you right here, it is the soul. It is a soul process. This is viscerally felt on a soul level. The ancestors are coming through. The pain of your ancestors are coming through. The anger of your ancestors are coming through in this experience here. And it is very, very intense. Very, very intense. This is to transform and burst what has been bottling up within the blood. Mars is blood, the blood drive, bubbling up within the blood for generations to come out. And this is also for us on an individual level, because the North Node in Aries transit, which we have only about another 15 months left of Mars in, I mean, the North Node in Aries, this whole North Node in Aries transit is to pave the road of destiny and becoming who you are and initiating the warrior within you before Neptune and Saturn conjunct in Pisces and start tip dancing back and forth in Aries together before they begin a new Saturn Neptune synodic cycle, while also beginning whole new cycles within themselves. Saturn beginning a whole new 30-year cycle, Neptune beginning a whole new 180-year cycle. I believe is 180 years. Let me double check on that. 165 years. So 165 years. Neptune's going to start a brand new 165-year cycle at the same time, beginning a whole new Saturn Neptune synodic cycle with the both of them crossing into Aries together. So the North Node in Aries right now is literally just paving the road before the true initiation happens. And at the same time as the true initiation happens, guess what the fuck is going to happen? So watch, I'm going to go forward just a few years. We'll go forward just a few years. It's not going to take long. Let's just go to 2027, 2027. Boom. This is a little far, but look, Saturn is almost done with its Aries transit. Neptune is at 4 degrees Aries. Pluto is at 4 degrees Aquarius, fucking sextiling this Neptune, while Uranus is in Gemini. And the North Node is going to be in Aquarius. So it's only once every 18 years where the transiting North Node crosses over transiting Pluto. And it's going to happen within this Aries period. So this is going to change the entire fucking world right now. Into the future, before we get into the fucking 30s, guys, before we get into the fucking new decade there in the 2030s, when Saturn and Neptune going here, this is going to be the ushering in of the new world, of the new. But here's what's complicated. Here's what these Illuminati global elite don't understand, or what they're afraid of. It is inevitable. The convergence of timelines in the awakening within the people is inevitable. And all of these things that are going on are merely attempts to try to control what they can't control. The awakening is going to happen, you guys. We are in the midst of great grand cycles that are going to happen whether we are alive or not, whether we do something or not. This is a great grand cycle, and Earth has been through this already before. The people on earth have already been this before throughout many ancestral cultures around the world. This is a massive event. What a fucking time to be alive right now. This is huge, you guys. This is huge. Going into the future with Uranus and Gemini, there's going to be no stopping the truth. We're going to be in a true revolution for the fucking truth. And when Saturn and Neptune begin their new synodic cycle together, and they're crossing over together in Pisces. This is what I believe when we collectively go through a spiritual realization of the nightmare that we have actually been in. This is when all the things that we have intellectualized, like, yeah, sure, 9/11 was an inside job, and look at all these facts that prove that, and whatever. There was a huge fucking aspect of the truth we all know within our disclosure communities that hasn't fucking hit yet because of the Neptune in Pisces. And now that Saturn is in Pisces, and the last time Saturn was in Pisces was 30 years ago. So everything that has taken place 30 years all the way until now, there is a part of it that we haven't really connected to and felt, because what does Pisces do? Pisces escapes the truth, the reality, and lives in a form of an alternate experience. And so we are going to be fully embracing the truth of the fucked upness that's been going. We're going to be waking up into the nightmare. Okay. And so the south node in Aries transit is paving the road as we collectively go through this massive healing, spiritual healing together, realizing all the fucked up shit that has been going on and actually hitting us. Boom. Warriors activated. Warriors fucking activated to start marching on that road that the North Node is paving right now, the North Node of destiny, to begin the true revolution for humanity. So the next thing that's going to happen today on October 8th, later this evening, in a few hours, Venus is going to finally exit Leo, which Venus has been in Leo for 4 months. Really long time for Venus to be in Leo. And the moment she leaves Leo, she's going to boop, cross over and conjunct Black Moon Lilith at 0 degrees Virgo, while experiencing the opposition to Saturn right here. Venus is in opposition to Saturn right now, but this is while she's still at 29 degrees of Leo, and it's going to totally shift in this opposition. The way this Venus is experiencing this opposition is going to really shift when Venus moves out of Leo and into Virgo. Now, before I say more about Venus moving into Virgo and being opposed by the Saturn, I want to bring up when Venus first entered Leo back in June of this year, months ago. When Venus first entered Leo back in June, that was when Pluto was at 0 degrees Aquarius retrograde. So the moment Venus entered 0 degrees of Leo, she was immediately opposed by Pluto in Aquarius at 0 degrees. And now that she's getting ready to shift into a new sign, as soon as she hits that 0 degree and 1 degree point, she is immediately opposed by another heavy hitting maleficent planet, Saturn. So back to back, transiting to different signs, Venus is fucking going through some intense transformational karmic stuff here that has to do with our heart, our ego, our courage, our values, our relationships, our integrity, our boundaries, our money, our resources, our sex life, our character, our creativity, our daily habits. So many fucking things have to be radically transformed this year, the beginning of radical transformation of your heart, of your behavior, of your values, of your ego, of your courage, of your character has to begin this year while this road of destiny is being paved before the massive fucking shift of an era occurs. Oh my gosh, you guys. So Venus in just mere few hours is going to enter Virgo at 0 degrees and conjunct Black Moon Lilith. So, gosh, this is crazy. So I'm gonna go into this article that I wrote here for you guys. Okay, um, give me a second. I'm gonna read this article. I don't know how long I've been going on here, but I'm gonna read this article and then I'm gonna wrap it up. So I've been making a number of different posts. Okay, so let's talk about Venus part 2. Venus is now at 28 degrees Leo. I wrote this a few days ago. On July 22nd this year, Venus went retrograde at this 28-degree point. Venus will be out of shadow by the time you're reading this. On October 8th, Venus will enter Virgo. That's today. The moment she enters Virgo, she begins to cross over Lilith at 0 degrees Virgo. Together, Lilith and Venus will be opposing Saturn retrograde in Pisces at 1 degree. To add another layer, Mars at 27 degrees Libra will be forming an exact square to Pluto retrograde in Capricorn 27 degrees. Before moving forward with this breakdown, I want to mention that when Venus first entered Leo, she faced an immediate opposition to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius at 0 degrees. This opposition to Pluto was a sounding bell to begin a long process of purifying our hearts, our courage, and creative expression. Our hearts and values have been going through a once-in-a-lifetime reprogramming process. Part of what this entails is multifaceted and doesn't end now that Venus is direct and out of shadow. It ain't over. Now we are about to begin the next phase. For the next few weeks, as Venus enters Virgo, she will be directly opposing Saturn, another hitting maleficent planet. So we see that in both Leo and Virgo, Venus, which is our hearts and values, is being pressurized at the very first few degrees of Leo and Virgo. This is a profound indication of this year being a radical new beginning to shift energies on the planet that haven't happened like this in generations. Venus rules 2 signs in the zodiac, Taurus and Libra. When the North Node was in Taurus, she was riding the waves of destiny and forging ahead to new developments. Now that the nodes have switched and the South Node is in Libra, Venus is riding the wave of clearing out karmic patterns and integrating lessons. Now, I can get into very lengthy details that include the grand fixed cross that happened in June, but that will take up too much time and is very technical to break down. So I'm just going to wrap it up and get to the bigger picture here. Now that Venus is completing this 4-month-long Venus journey in Leo, you are passing a level of accomplishing a new sense of self-worth and maintaining our authentic expression in the face of conflict, battling other egos and attacks on your integrity. This conflict came from multiple angles. It challenged your sense of self-worth by threatening your sense of security, your money. It challenged you through encounters with others who threaten your self-esteem and confidence. It challenged you by having to step forward in your communications and speak your truth and set boundaries. It challenged you by having you own who you are and what your values are. We had to go through a detangling process that had to do with personal relationships and money management, but also evolving your strength and courage and going after your heart's desires. Venus in Virgo is going to be the stage of reprogramming our hearts by first going through harsh this harsh opposition with Saturn while conjunct Lilith. Lilith wants to bring to the surface what are your greatest fears and what is a shadow within you that is oppressed. Because it is in Virgo, it is going to be like your inner critic becoming louder and harsher. Your inner critic can be so harsh that it spirals of fear that you will never be good enough. Simultaneously, Lilith can entice you to activate a rare form of your sexual expression. This can be like realizing you waste way too much time and energy watching porn and noticing how pornography has rotten your mind. It's like you can't even see people without your mind running wild with sexual images. The Saturn opposition is going to be that element that forces you to see the lack of personal integrity and how you are literally squandering your precious life force energy to a loose harvesting shadow of your unconscious behaviors. This can also be tempted to make this can also tempt you to make big purchases and maybe want to buy the full package for a new health program and get all the supplements only to see that you aren't committed to it and sort of wasted your money. Saturn will be that inner parental energy to lecture you about how you are out of balance and not fully present with yourself. Saturn in Pisces wants us to realize all the ways as we try to escape the truth and try to live in this idea. You had this idea and fantasy of getting into great shape, but you are not showing up for it. There is a disconnect. Mars squaring Pluto is the key. Mars squaring Pluto is igniting the unyielding desire to go on a quest for transformation and purification. Mars square Pluto is aligning our desire to experience a greater transformation of our ego and actions. Pluto is going to purify the direction of your energy and actions. Mars and Pluto together want to assist us in finding the balance and setting a more mature alignment of your ego and willpower. A side effect of this Mars Pluto combination can be agitation. Be cautious of being swept away in debates or arguments where all parties are strong in their opinions and everyone's willpower wants to bulldoze and dominate. You can't force matter and you can't force people to change. Neptune in conjunct to Mars is like being gently dosed with a small amount of ketamine, where you are high but can't really tell. It stirs a little bit of confusion. Are we all dreaming? Why did I do that? Why did I say that? That dream last night was weird. Neptune is the divine spiritual element that is demonstrating to us how we co create our realities by showing you how your subconscious mind bleeds out. The eclipse will be the stage that manifests all that you are consciously and unconsciously creating. With Mercury now in Libra, it is a good time to talk with people you need to be in connection with. It is a good time to catch up with others whom you probably haven't talked to in the last few months. As Venus continues ahead in Virgo and moves away from the pressurized beams of Saturn and Pisces, Venus will be assisting us in taking all that self love, courage, and confidence we developed in Leo and revolutionizing how we can be of service with our own unique skills and gifts. Service to others and ourselves. Leo is look at me, look what I can do, and look how awesome I am. Leo is talent, display, and creative expression. Virgo then takes that Leo energy and is now, how can I be of service? How can I use my skills and talents to help others? How can I be productive in a way that contributes to something beyond myself? That's it for now. Blah, 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 blah. So this is a lot here. The astrology and the transits and where we are all going in the years to come ahead, it is a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. There's a lot of astrology to break down in all of this. Now, what's going to be happening next, right? So soon, Mars is going to move further away from this square to Pluto. Boom. Mars is on October 12th. Mars moves into Scorpio. So, what is the ruling planet of Scorpio? Pluto. So, it's interesting that Before Mars entered Scorpio, Mars was in Libra, squaring Pluto, taking all of that energy that Pluto pressure, because Pluto is the stronger energy. Pluto will dominate Mars any time of the day. So Pluto just boom sends that massive 90-degree squaring pressure to Mars in Libra. And then now Mars takes it moving into Virgo. And then now, into Scorpio. And now with Mars moving into Scorpio, this is going to lock in. This is going to lock in the will and the strength and the fighting spirit and the character and the ego and how we identify with all the different things into a tenacious, obsessive, narrow-minded driving force. This is going to be very tricky on the world stage, but individually in our own lives, as we are going through a purification process and reprogramming our hearts and resetting our boundaries and moving into more courage and confidence, that is with an embodiment of a true sense of self-worth and values. Mars moving into Scorpio is going to then integrate all of that work into fortifying your character and being tenacious and focused about what you are working towards achieving in your own personal life, in your own personal agenda. However, at the world stage, when we come together with all of this fucking Libra energy in the South Node in Libra, when we come together and interact, we are all going to be prone and sensitive to be quick to debate, and being trying to be very domineering with our own point of view about shit. So it's going to be a very, 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 very interesting time. And my suggestion is to just do what you have to do in your own personal life. Do your thing. Do your thing. Don't try to get too involved in debates or arguments with others about all of the shit that's going on, because it's very tricky right now. It's very tricky. So something exciting to look forward to is, so after I'm just gonna jump ahead real quick. I'm just gonna say real quick. So, this Libra season is is one for the books, this Libra season. And then when we go into Scorpio season, it is going to be an intense fortification of everything that has taken place from Leo season to Virgo season and Libra season, and embodying it in a new purified version of ourselves. Then what I'm looking forward to is fucking Sagittarius season, because when Sagittarius season comes, boom, you're going to see all of the immediate effects of everything that has transpired over the last several months since the end of Gemini season. Once we go into Libra season, boom, it's going to be like magic is happening, and you're going to have to make moves left and right. If you've been waiting for money, if you've been waiting for a sale, if you've been waiting for things, if you've been waiting for a job, if you've been trying to move and all of this stuff, once we go into Sagittarius season, it's going to be the magical effect that is going to bring a lot of things into happening very quickly, and you want to be excited for that. One last thing I want to say about this ongoing Virgo opposition to Saturn and Pisces here is to really be in control of how you are going to be talking to yourself. Okay. You want to be really in control. If you are becoming very harsh in overly identifying qualities and traits and behaviors about yourself that you don't like, that you think are ugly, that you feel make you like a piece of shit and that you're not good enough for anything, you need to stop that and transform that right now. You need to be in control of that and be gentle and loving to yourself and change the way that you are talking to yourself. Move into prayer, move into gratitude, change the story, because this effect, if you let this really sink in, whatever harshness starts to be triggered through here, if you let this sink in, it can mold your peptides to become addicted to just feeling like shit, to become addicted into this pain body and spiral you into a condition that you are familiar with, which is not your greatest self, which is a self that is complacent and doesn't want to fucking try because you're overwhelmed by what it takes to try. Change that shit this during this time. Be in control. With that said, I have to take a massive piss and we're done.